It is day 6 of the 12 days of Christmas. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and let's get started. For DIY number 1, I'm going to begin with 3 of these embroidery hoops that I got from Amazon. And I'm just going to open up the little screw part. Now I have this leftover craft fabric that I got from the Dollar Tree a couple years ago, I think. I love the pattern and I think this is great for vintage gingerbread projects, which is my theme of my gingerbread video today. So I'm just going to snip off a piece that will fit in this hoop here. And first I place the inside hoop on the bottom and then the fabric on top and then the larger hoop over it and pulling all the fabric nice and tight and then screwing closed the little screw part to get everything nice and set. So once I'm happy with how tight it is, because I want to make sure this fabric doesn't slip out, I do the same thing to the other two. And here I'm tightening up the last one. Now I'm taking some scissors to snip off the excess, and I try to go as close as I can. And now here I'm ready to do some embellishing. I'm going to set these aside, and I'm going to take this piece of lace. It's a cotton lace. It's almost like an eyelet lace, and I'm just using some hot glue for this. I prefer to use the Beacon Fabric Tech fabric glue for this kind of project, but I didn't have any more, so to the hot glue we go with my detailed hot glue gun, and this worked just fine. So I'm just doing little bits of glue, and I'm just going to create little pleats. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all these steps for this. So now I'm going to find the opposite end, add another bit of hot glue, and then create another little pleat and hold it in place until the glue sets. And now I have 2 pleats, so now I'm going to fold it and find the next center point, and then add some more hot glue, create another little pleat, and then find the opposite end to that, add another little bit of glue, create another little pleat. So now I have 4 pleats. Now I'm going to create pleats in the middle of each of these pleats by creating the center point, finding it, and then adding the hot glue and pinching it like this. It's almost looking like a little skirt, but this is going to be a hack how to create a little rosette. Now of course you can use thread and a needle. All you do is just go around the inside edge with a needle and thread and then pull it tight and you create a rosette. It's really easy. But if you don't have any thread or a needle or you don't want to sew, this is a good way to do this with just some hot glue. Just use a detailed glue gun or just put tiny bits of glue. Don't ooze it out too much. Okay, so now here is my basic rosette. The hole is still a little too large, so I'm going to add some hot glue on the inside edges and then pinching it closed real quick, pressing down with my finger until the glue is set, which is set pretty quickly on fabric. Now I'm pretty happy with this. I'm just going to snip off the little piece that was kind of sticking up. Now I'm going to add some more hot glue to the back side and then placing it on my piece right here, on my fabric, till it sets. Now I have this little gingy. These are little ones that I got from Amazon. They're actually not gingerbread men. They're actually just little people made out of wood, but I thought they would be cute. So I used that. And I just painted them with the nutmeg brown, of course. Okay, here's my last little rosette. Kind of pressing down. This time I used my silicone spatula. I'm trying to be a good example for you guys. Okay, so here, now I'm just going to add some more hot glue. I'm trying to find which side it is. Okay, so here I'm going to add some hot glue and then place it down on the center of my craft fabric like this. And then add my last little gingy. And these gingies, I don't add any faces or anything because this is more of a kind of rustic and vintage gingerbread video. So we're not doing faces for these. And now I'm going to take that same fabric and I'm just going to cut about 1 inch little notches and then pulling the fabric, ripping it up to create some little bows. I'm just going to create some little 2 knotted bows for these. So here I'm just taking 2 pieces. I do remove the excess threads, but I do use a few of those later on. You'll see that. So here I'm just going to create a knot and pull until everything's nice and tight. And then I do snip off, like I said, all the extra. That's just too wild. Yeah, it's too much, so we'll just remove that. And so now I have a little, like a knotted tie bow, I guess. Messy bow. And I'm just going to add a little bit of hot glue and place it up on the top where the hardware is. And that is it. Look how adorable. So cute. So vintage. I do add a hanger. I take some of the same fabric and I just place it on the back side with some hot glue. And you'll be seeing more of this fabric in DIY number 2 and DIY number 3. Okay, here is my last little messy bow. I'm going to place it right on top. And that is it. No sewing required for this one, just hot glue. And here's how they look and a closer look at the final reveal. Like I mentioned earlier, this is day 6 of the 12 days of Christmas, and today we are doing gingerbread. My sweet friend Brenda from Rustic and Lace DIY invited me to co-host with her on 12 days of Christmas crafts. Oh my goodness. And I can't believe we're already halfway through this collaboration. There's been so many wonderful DIYs from everybody. It's just been amazing. So be sure to enjoy the playlist after you're done watching this video. Also, if you have a YouTube channel and you'd like to participate, you can. This is the schedule and these are the guidelines. And you are very welcome to come and join us. It's so much fun. For DIY number 2, I'm going to begin by using one of these pocket pot holders from the Dollar Tree. This one is in the red. And here's some more of that fabric. I just love the vintage look on it. I think it's so pretty. So this piece almost fits perfectly here. And again, I'm just going to go in with my hot glue. I do prefer the Beacon fabric tag, but I figured this would be going in my kitchen as decor. I won't be using this for any pots or anything. And my kitchen would have to get really, really hot for this glue to melt. So I think I'll be okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go along the edges right before the end, the edges, and pressing down with hot glue, and then going down this side here. So I just like to do little sections at a time because hot glue tends to set pretty quickly in my house. It's pretty cool in this house sometimes. So now for the bottom, I'm just going to go around the edge, the natural edge of this pot holder. So it's got a curve. So go all the way around, press everything down. And now that everything's nice and set, now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to trim off the excess, going really close to where the glue's at. And it's almost like a perfect look. Look at that. Came out so cute. Just a little more trimming with some good T-tail scissors, nice and sharp. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with my rickrack. I love my rickrack, especially for vintage gingerbread projects. So again, I'm going to go in with my hot glue, do a nice little line, and then placing my rickrack, press everything down. And then I'm going to snip this piece off because it's a straight line. Now here I'm just removing little threads. Now I'm going to go from here and go and do a little line. And I'm going to quickly place my rickrack on. This one I'm not going to cut. So I'm just going to continue with this one. Now here I'm noticing I need to trim just a little bit here. Gotta get it right before I place my rickrack. Just removing these little fibers that are sticking out. Okay, so now I'm ready to continue. So now I'm going to go ahead and do a little line here. I'm just going to do little sections where I think it's like a more delicate area. So right here, halfway. And then I'll continue with another little line to the curve right here. And then follow that. Just keep pressing down gently, going along the curve. And then the last piece here, the home stretch. Woo! Right here. And look at that. Oh, it looks so adorable. So this is the top of the pocket. So the pocket is not affected at all. It's not adhered. Okay, so now I had this gingy that I had from Amazon and I painted it in nutmeg brown. It was an extra from another project, so I placed that on top. And then another one of these knotted messy bows just on the very top. And then I had these little buttons in my stash, and I had 2. These are from the Dollar Tree. I don't think they sell buttons anymore. I haven't seen them in a while. But I placed these on top, the 2 corners, and then I had more little buttons. And then I took some of the threads that I had removed when I did the tearing of the fabric, and I just kind of placed it through the buttons, added some hot glue, and these will go in the middle of Mr. Gingy. So the buttons are going to have a little bit of thread, which are these fibers, these strands. So here I'll just show you another one. This one's the little red one, and I'm putting the strand through, kind of like you would a needle, like this, just real easy. Then holding it by the strands, adding some hot glue, and I'm just going to stack this one on top of the larger button to give it a stacked button look, and I complete the rest, and this is how it looks, and a closer look at the final reveal. For DIY number 3, I'm going to begin by taking a piece of parchment paper and this long cutting board that I got from Amazon some time ago. I had one left, and I'm going to go in with the Mod Podge, and this one's from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add it to the very top, doing a nice generous amount. And this one's in the matte Mod Podge. So I'm just going to give it a nice smooth amount of this Mod Podge like this. And then taking that same fabric, add it like one more long piece, and I'm going to place it on top, smooth it out. I'm trying to make sure that all the lines are nice and straight. So that's why I'm just taking my time looking. Now I'm going to snip off the bottom piece, and now I'm going to place some more of the Mod Podge on top because we need to seal it up. And again, go real generous, and then spread it with my little brush and get it all over, even on the edges, especially on the edges. Just get it everywhere, nice and generously and smooth, like this. I guess I'm going to show you the whole thing. But you get what I'm saying. Just all the way through, like this. Now I'm going to allow this to dry. Now I'm going to take this little rolling pin that came with this little board. It was actually a set, and it was a great deal on Amazon. So here's this little piece of fabric that I still have. I'm going to kind of measure how much I'm going to need, and I'm just going to snip off the piece that I need. And these fabrics that have the lines, it just makes snipping off fabric so easy. You don't have to really guess that you're getting everything nice and straight. Just follow the lines. Super simple. And I'm going to do the same process as I did the cutting board with the Mod Podge. I'm just going to go very generously on the wood portion, and then placing my fabric on top. I just got to make sure it's nice and smooth. Got to get it right. And then place it on the fabric and kind of getting it nice and straight. Make sure the lines are straight. And then just start pressing everything with my fingers. And then when I get to the very end, add a little bit more Mod Podge to seal it up. Again, make sure everything's nice and straight. And then press it all down with my fingers. And then going over the top to seal it up with some more of the Mod Podge. Whoever created Mod Podge, genius. Just genius, people. This stuff is great. What would we do without it? I don't know. We'd use glue, I guess. Now I'm going to use a craft clamp to keep it upright. That way it'll stay up while it dries. Okay, so here it is, nice and dry. Now I'm going to take my detail scissors and snip off all the excess fabric. We are not going to need all this. So right here is nicely cut. And now I'm going to take my rickrack again and go ahead and go around the whole edge of this cutting board with the rickrack. I'm going to begin with the very bottom, pressing it down, and then I'm going to go on this side. I think for this one I do go with larger portions. I was feeling pretty confident at this point. I had pretty good practice for a little bit. So here, going around this little curve here, and then going up the handle, and pressing it down, and then going around the top curve to about the middle portion. Just kind of holding it, pressing it. Now to here. Now going to the rest of this curved part right here. And now for the home stretch. This little piece here. Right here. And then pressing it all down. And then snipping off the excess. Look at that, it's so cute. Now this portion here had some kind of a defect, but we'll take care of that a little bit later with my little rolling pin. That's where we're gonna put the rolling pin, because there's like a defected portion of this rickrack. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and add rickrack to my rolling pin right on the two ends, and just going around real quick. This one's a pretty quick one, and snipping off the excess. And then doing the same thing to the other side. Let me tell you, this roll of rickrack, I purchased this, I want to say a couple years ago from Amazon. Look at that, it's still full. I'm going to have this stuff for a while. Yeah, this stuff is worth it. Definitely worth it. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with how my little rolling pin is looking. So I'll set this aside in the meantime. And in another video, I had extra foam clay. And so I went ahead and cut out these little foam clay cookies, which I ended up using in another video. But I had this voided piece that's over here on the left, bottom left. And I went ahead and added some of this extreme Mod Podge, this glitter Mod Podge. You can see it here on the bottom left, the voided part, this part here. Okay, so then in another video, I had created some resin, epoxy resin, using the Dollar Tree epoxy resin A and B. And I mixed it up, and I used some of the red acrylic paint also from the Dollar Tree, mixed it all up together. And then I poured it on these air dry clay cookies. The other one was made from foam clay. And so I had poured some of this resin in there. But of course, I don't know what happened to my footage. I always lose my footage. I don't know why. I think I just make too many projects. Okay, so here is my piece, nice and set. The foam clay is set, and so is the resin, the epoxy resin. And I had placed a piece of Cricut vinyl underneath it. That way it wouldn't ooze out everywhere, and that worked. That worked really, really well. Okay, so now here I'm just adding some hot glue, placing it on top of my cutting board, and then taking another one of these knotted messy bows, putting it on the top, and then taking another button. This one won't have any fibers on it. I'm just going to add some hot glue, place it in the middle, and now I'm going to use my little rolling pin to help cover up the damaged part of this rickrack. It just came that way. It was just, I don't know, just that little bit of damage there. So I'm just going to add some hot glue, trying to find where the seam is. Can't find it. So here is my hot glue, place it on top, and then that is it. This holds it well. And here's how it looks, and the closer look at the final reveal. If you're on Instagram, here's my QR code. I invite you to scan it and come follow me on there. I post on there Monday through Fridays, as well as TikTok. Here's my QR code for there. And here is my QR code for Facebook, also Monday through Fridays, as well as my Pinterest. Here's my QR code for there. And here's my Lemonade account as well. And my Threads account. This is my handle, also Monday through Fridays. Here's my Hometalk QR code. I invite you to come scan it. Post on there twice a month. I do have a Facebook crafting group. I invite you to come join us there. And now we're at the final reveal. Let me know what you think and which one is your favorite one. Well, let's take a moment and say thank you for taking time out of your busy day to watch my video. It really, really means a lot to me that you took the time to watch it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. And it would definitely help my channel to keep growing. And don't forget, there's a playlist included in this collaboration. So when you're done watching this video, head on over to my description box, click the link to the playlist, and enjoy it. There's just going to be so much inspiration in this playlist, especially with the gingerbread theme. How fun. So be sure to not miss out on that, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't yet. And if you want to see more, definitely subscribe. Lots more is coming. Until my next video, stay healthy, safe, and strong, and have a great, great day. Bye-bye.